Hey, Jack Squad, how's everybody doing? Hope all is well on this wonderful Monday holiday. And I hope you're making it happen for yourself. You got to make it happen for yourself. Y'all, T-shirts still available now. T-shirts still available. Okay, T-shirts still available. Make it happen for yourself. T-shirts, $20, still available. Email me. My email is in the description box, and get you a T-shirt. All right. Listen, y'all. Today, you know, I've been. You all had asked me about the Derrick Jaxn and Denia Jackson interview with my future wifey, the guy that does my future wifey, right? On that YouTube channel. He did an interview with Denia a couple of months ago, and then he recently did one with the husband, Derrick Jaxn. Now, Derrick Jaxn is the gentleman who was giving excellent dating advice for women. All the while, he was cheating, right? Allegedly in front of his girlfriend's house in his car. Don't know, but that's what I remember, right? Anyway, so I watched it, and it both were about a couple of hours apiece. Took me a couple days, and I watched it, and I'm going to tell you what I think about the situation, because you guys asked, right? Now, I watched her first, and then I watched Derrick. Now, when it came to Derrick's, I really didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to hear what he had to say. But I'm going to tell you, I watched her. She's a very pretty girl, and the guy, I think his name is Dan. I forgot what his name is, the guy on My Future Wifey podcast. But he said that he got her, he got her a makeup artist and all that to make her pretty and feel comfortable, right? So shout out to him for doing that. But she's a nice looking girl, right? So anyway, I listened to her. She was poised. She answered all the questions. She was funny. She had a little humor to her. I can see that she's on her healing journey, right? Because let me tell you, I know most of you all, and if you say you wasn't thinking that, you're lying. I thought she had lost her mind, right? Now, I do know that when you are in relationships, especially a relationship with a man, and you've been hurt and you've been wronged and betrayed and cheated on, that it can make you a little wacky. It can make you a little wacky. I have to say that, right? I also know that there's a such thing as a religious fanatic. And I actually thought that she had became a religious fanatic, right? But as I was listening to her during the interview, I realized that was not the case. So she explains how they met in college, which is where you want to meet your man in college. Most folks do that if they go to college, right? Nice looking couple. She explained that she was his tutor or whatever, right? She also explained, and I can't remember the timelines exactly, but prior to her, she said after they met, that it was sort of kind of like love at first sight. That after they met, after a week or so, they was in love. That's what she said, right? So it was meant to be, right? She said they was inseparable, holding hands. They was around the campus. Everybody saw them. But she said she had went to a party previously before that, I want to say 2 weeks before, and went to a party with some friends and had got I don't know if you can say this word on there now, but she was sexually assaulted, right? I don't even know if you can say that. There's so many words they play with. But she was sexually assaulted, and she never told him. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this right here, that moment in time in her life, that trauma, that tragedy, that somebody abusing her and taking advantage of her, is where it all began in my mind, right? So they began dating off and on, off and on, off and on. And he did cheat. Now, she says she didn't deal with her trauma. So if you rape, I don't even know if to say this word, but rape victims have PTSD, right? And it could be something as simple as a touch, or the way you touch, or the move you make, or something. They don't want to be touched. And if you don't get that resolved and get healed, I don't know if there's resolution to it, but get healed, then you're going to keep that inside of you, right? So basically, they went into a relationship, and she was not healed. Now, he was not either, but we'll talk about him in a moment. And so now you're going into a relationship with a very handsome, very sexual man. Y'all both 19, 20, whatever, 19. And you're not healed from that trauma of someone violating you, right? And so, to paraphrase, she didn't really want to be touched, right? Now you can't involve yourself in a relationship and expect to evolve, and you're not having sex, for lack of a better way to put it. You're not having sex, right? 19, oh my God, right? So she never told him. He never knew until years into the relationship, after they had all this trauma and all this breakups and makeups and breakups and makeups. He didn't know that, right? That is something he needs to know. Let me tell y'all something, ladies. I just watched a guy, and I like him, Tony Gaskins, but you know, what always gets me is when a man think he can tell a woman how to be. You can tell us how a man feels when we say certain things or do certain things, but you can't actually tell us how to be, because you're not a woman, right? And men think differently than women. They feel differently. They have feelings. So I watched the other day that he said that we should never tell a man our traumas or something like that. I beg to differ. If you think this is going somewhere, maybe you don't tell them on the first night, second night, third night. But if you feel it's going somewhere, and if you feel like you're in love, there are some conversations that need to be had. And I tell y'all this all the time. There are some conversations that need to be had, right? And if you've been hurt and you've been traumatized, you need to tell that to your mate, male or female. You need to tell that to your mate so that they can know how to deal with you accordingly, or if they want to deal with you, give them the choice to deal with a trauma victim. If they are comforting enough to deal with you, if they have the energy and the care in their heart and soul to deal with you, because everybody can't deal with. Everybody don't have a comforting heart. Everybody don't care enough about you to deal with whatever you've been through in your life, right? So, and I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying what I saw as I was listening to both of them. Because when I listened to Derrick, and he told his beginning of the story, it was the same. It was just things that he didn't know, right? That don't excuse him from cheating. The man was always cheating. He says he was cheating because he wasn't getting what he wanted. And he didn't understand the rejection. He was getting rejected, I should say that. And he didn't understand the rejection. Hot and cold, right? Again, this was something that should have been discussed. Okay, so then she had broke up, and then she moved away for 8 months or something to a whole other state. They was going around from state to state. And he still wanted her. Even though he was dealing with other women, he still wanted her. Let me say this to y'all in case y'all didn't know. Men are not built like us. Not giving no excuses, but they're not built like us. If you ain't having sex with them, somebody is. Somebody will. Somebody right over there waiting to do that, right? Anyway, he still loved her. And do I think that a man can cheat and still love his wife? Yes, I do. I will never be able to get into the psyche of a man. I'm just telling you all, because I'm not a man. I'm just telling you all what I saw and heard from them. And basically they told the same story. Maybe they, each left some things out, but they basically told the same story. From her perspective, he was cheating. She was angry. She was upset. I don't want to be bothered with that. And that's rightfully so. From his perspective, he was cheating and dealing with women because he wanted emotional support or whatever you want, right? But also, I understand her totally, right? And what I thought when she was crazy, she wasn't crazy. She was just seeking help. So she went to the Bible, which is where we all should go. That's the source you need to go to. Did it come off a little weird? Maybe. But she was seeking help, and she explained it about the helmet of salvation, all that. She explained that during the interview, right? With my future wifey, with the guy who does my future wifey, right? She explained all her. She explained herself. You guys need to watch the interview. She did explain herself, and it did make sense. And then I could see her side. I was like, oh, she ain't crazy. You know what I'm saying? She was in a situation that was rough, and she was seeking help for it. Who better to go to than God, right? She explained why she was looking like that, right? Now, and he explained it too. Now I'm gonna tell you what she said. You know, when they did the interview and she had on a tam and it looked like a bonnet, but it was a tam. So I want to say his father, his stepfather had passed. They had just come back from a funeral. She was pregnant. They just found that out. And amidst all they weren't really together, but they got back together for, for support for, the dad dying and so on and so forth. And she said she had never been in front of a camera and she had never, talked to anybody. And she was just sitting there. That's why she was sitting there looking like that. She said all she could do was sit there and smile because of all the things that was going on in her mind and her heart. All she could do was sit there and smile. And she wanted to be supportive to her husband. Okay? She wanted to be supportive to her husband. So she sat there. She had on a tam, right? Now, he says the same thing. He said, so the guy asked him, why did you let your wife go on like that? He said he didn't see anything wrong with her. That was his wife. She's a beautiful woman. He didn't see nothing wrong with it. They had just come back from a traumatic experience, the funeral. They were pregnant. They was trying to get back together. There was a whole bunch going on. He said he didn't see anything wrong with her. That's what he said. Listen, there's always two sides to the story. Then there's the truth, right? The problem that we had with Derrick Jaxn is that he was a relationship guru. He was a guru. I think that's what he was self-proclaimed, but that's what we thought. I enjoyed watching him. I enjoyed listening to him, right? Thought we had somebody on the side. Tell him like it is, bro. Tell him what to do, right? And he failed us, but he's human. He failed. It was an epic fail. Now, he was talking about all the money he had made as a young man. 7 figures. He was taking care of her, rightfully so. She was a wife. They had 2 kids and they had 3 kids. And he explained that it all went bad. His mother was always, not his mother, her mother was always in the situation. That's a hard place to be as a mother, to see your child hurt and deeply hurt. Because she went and stayed with her mother. I think they was in Denver or somewhere. That's a hard situation to watch as a parent. I have even had to learn to watch my grown kids make mistakes and try to be there for them if they want you to be, right? So she didn't really mention her mom a lot, but he said that was always a problem for him. The mom was in their relationship, right? Now listen, I listened to her and I totally got her. I totally understood. I said, oh no, she wasn't crazy. She might have been crazy at a crazy period where she was all over the place, but she explained that, right? Your man is cheating, your husband. You pregnant. Don't know if y'all gonna be together. You break up, you back together. Break up, back together. Right? She knew from the beginning who he was. I'm gonna say that, right? But one time when they were broke up, he went to her mother and asked her mother for her hand in marriage. So she was excited. So listen, anytime it's a bunch of y'all and he pick you and you feel like you won, that's what happens, right? So even though he was cheating and doing this and doing that, he asked to marry her. And he explained that she was pretty, she was smart, she had a sense of humor, and she had already been helping him, like tutoring him and stuff like that, right? And he said he could have had anybody, but he liked her. He liked her, right? What I think the problem was, she didn't tell him about her trauma, and he didn't have, what's the word I want to use? He didn't know how to deal with her. He didn't know about the trauma. I think he said 5 years, but he didn't know how to deal with her. And I got to say this, they're still young. I didn't realize they was there. She's 33. They're 33 years old. That's young to have been through all of that, make all that money, still making money, run businesses, have extramarital affairs, break up, go back together, have children. That's a lot at that young age, right? So he asked her at the end, the interviewer asked her at the end, was she dating? She said, oh no, I need to heal. And I'm glad that she said that, because so many of us, men and women, we go out of one relationship and go into the next without sitting with ourselves and rehashing what happened. What could you have done to make it better? What did you do to cause it to fail? We always want to blame the other person, like he was cheating, he did this. But you have to look in yourself and see, what did you do? Did you encourage the cheating? Did you accept the cheating? Did you Will you not being a good wife, girlfriend, partner? You know what I'm saying? And we hate to, as women, we hate to be like, he cheated. It ain't my fault that he cheated. No, it's not. But what did you do to prior to the cheating, right? What were you not doing? It's never no woman's fault if their man cheats on them. Let me just say that. But a lot of things can happen a lot of things can happen that can encourage it. Let me say that can encourage it, right? It's never our fault, right? And he even said that. He said no woman is too pretty or no woman is too ugly to not get cheated on. There's nothing they did. The man gonna cheat because he want to cheat, right? For whatever the reason may be. But we were all very, very angry with Derrick Jaxn. Is he a good wordsmith? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. His career is based on that, right? But I see her in a different light, and I see him in a different light. I definitely see her in a different light because I just thought she had lost her mind, and but she was going through a lot of things as a young woman, right? As a young woman, she's only 33 now. I think when they decided to split up, she was 31. When she was going through all that, she might have been 29, 30. She's a young woman, right? And you trying to handle life. Life is hard now for me. So you trying to handle life. You trying to hold on to a marriage. Do you want to hold on to it? Do you not want to hold on to it? And I'm going to tell y'all this as a woman. I'm being real honest. When you've been with somebody, been with a long time, or you think they're your life partner, you will endure a lot of things. Now, people say, well, you should have left the first time. Yeah, that's easy to say. It's easy to say. Now, especially when it's the first time that it happens to you. Now, when you get in the next relationship, you may not do that. But that first relationship, that first love, that first heartbreak, that first marriage, that first whatever, it's hard to say what you'll do if you've never been there, right? And you don't repeat those mistakes into the next relationship. But that first relationship, you get that major heartbreak. You would like to think, first time he cheated, I'm leaving. You would like to think that, but that may not be so. And especially if you got kids involved, if just your heart involved, right? She explained that she latched on to her pastor, a spiritual advisor, and she had several. See, this is deep, y'all. She had several therapists. She had a trauma therapist because she had to deal with what happened to her prior to her getting with Derrick, right? She had a trauma therapist. She had a regular therapist. They had a marriage counselor. They had a spiritual advisor. She was seeking help. She was seeking help, right? And trying to deal with the situation. She was seeking help. She was hurt. She felt abandoned. A lot of things going on with that. And me personally, I think that when you get tied up with somebody, I don't believe you should get tied in with somebody at 19 or 20. I just don't. 21 or 22. I just think it's too young. I think it's too young. You have to mature. Even though women mature faster than men, you have to mature, right? You have to be able to deal with life. And I think at 19, 20, 21, 22, all of the college years, you should just be enjoying yourself. Yes, date, but I just don't see getting serious. And that's hard to do, but I just don't see going all in and this is the one. Even though people do it, and sometimes it lasts a lifetime, sometimes it don't. It's sad and it's tragic that we watched their relationship and their breakup. We watched it, right? And what's even more sad is that this guy was somebody that we all liked and listened to. Had he been regular Derrick Jaxn, it might not, but he was the person that was telling men and telling women how to be in relationships. It was just a very ironic thing, right? You telling us how to be in relationships, meanwhile yours is horrible. And he did say he tried other things. He tried a lot of things, whatever she wanted to do, he was going to be able to do for her. She wanted a nanny. She wanted a housekeeper. She wanted this. She wasn't used to living in a big house. She didn't want to clean a big house. He said he was trying to be accommodating. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Because when you listen to him, he comes off as, I cheated, but this is why. My thing about people, especially a man that cheats, is that the why needs to be attributed to yourself, not to your spouse, right? He says that he cheated because he was looking for emotional support, so on and so forth. I just think he had a very high sexual appetite. That's just what I think, right? But he said he cheated, even though he still wanted his wife. He cheated because he wanted emotional support, right? That he wasn't getting at home. And I can't, this is what I would say. I watched him, and if you never knew who he was, the interview was fine. It was a good interview, right? But I just think that after hearing both sides to the story, he was dead wrong. He was dead wrong. But she should have told him about her trauma, and then maybe he could deal with it. Would it have stopped him from cheating? I don't know. Because prior, like she said, before they really got together, and then they would have breakups and get-togethers and all that, it would be women going in and coming in and out. It was like they was coming and going, right? Now she says she would pass women by as she going in like it was her turn. He says that didn't happen. He said he would never done that to her, but it did happen with other women, but he never did it to her. So we don't know. We don't know. But I just say that the cheating, so this is what I'm going to say. Cheating, I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Cheating, for me, when you cheat and you're a serial cheater, you can never recover as a woman. You have to let that go. You have to let that go, because you're going to always think, and for me, it was one time, you're going to always be thinking, when he's not here, where he at, what he doing? And then, this is another thing, y'all. He had a whole condo. Now, he tried to downplay it and said, yeah, we always said we would have several homes. But he had a whole condo. That was where he would take his women to while they were married. And they're still married. They haven't went through the divorce. Is not final. So, even though he gave a very nice, heartfelt interview, it didn't really, the man didn't attack him. He interviewed well, right? And he did ask the questions that we wanted to know. And Derrick, like I said, is a wordsmith, right? But the fact that you had a condo, because to me, in my mind, at some point he checked out, way before he said he checked out, right? He had a lot of businesses, he had a lot of people he was paying, and so on and so forth. And what I know, guys, and this is no dig at men, but a lot of times men can't handle stress, not the way we can. They can't handle stress. They can't handle issues. They can't handle situations, right? God put us here as a couple. It's supposed to be two of us, right? And so often we want to do it singularly, right? And then when things go bad, we want to be over here to the side instead of fighting through it together. Fighting through it together. But when you fight through together for your relationship or your marriage, you both have to be fighting. It can't just be one person, right? You both got to be on the same page. And that's what I see that did not happen. Because she was upset and she was hurt. She couldn't even think. I'm just speaking as a woman. When you're upset and hurt, a lot of times you can't think straight. So she went to her mama. Mama then telling her, girl, don't be with him. Leave that man. People will tell you. That's why a lot of times when you're going through things, especially me, I'm just not opening up because I have a YouTube channel. I would always keep stuff to myself. Is that good? No. But the noise, right? It's the noise. You know what I'm saying? And you can't properly figure out your situation the way you want to handle it. A lot of times we figure out things the way somebody else wants us to handle it. I know I've been guilty of that, right? Instead of doing things the way I want it to be done, you go the way somebody else wants you to do it, especially family members, right? So I'm sure her mother's at home being a mother. Don't go back to him. Don't fool with him. He ain't no good. I don't like him, blah, blah, blah. Because she said her mother and him didn't have the best relationship. Of course they didn't. He was cheating and hurting your child. Of course you don't have a good relationship with him, right? But like I said, I did watch it. I took 4 hours out my day and watched both interviews. The interviewer, I wish I could remember his name, My Future Wifey. He has a podcast and he has a YouTube channel. He was very patient, and he was he was very nice to them both. He was very nice to them both. And he said he came in it, as far as Derrick concerned, with a bad mindset, and he came in it with Danae because he thought that she was crazy. So he said he did interviews with her over the phone. He had conversations with her over the phone, because if she really had some mental illnesses, he was not going to interview her. He said after he spoke to her and realized she was okay, then it was okay to do the interview, right? And Derrick even said, nothing's wrong with her. She's not crazy. She's just going through stuff, right? Did she go a little too far? Maybe, because there was a time, and I remember seeing, it was so much, I didn't watch it all the time on IG, that she cursed the people that were listening. And she explained that too. I can't explain it the way she explained it, but she brought up a scripture and explained why she did that. You know, she was hurt. Listen, this was a young lady, and to add to that, she's an introvert. She's a quiet girl. She's you know, now you thrust out into the public. You know what I'm saying? Quiet girl, keep to herself. Mama might have been her best friend. You know what I'm saying? And then here we go with this big public scandal. And now you out there. Now you out there. You know what I mean? You know, that could be, that's a lot for anybody, right? That's a lot, even if you're an extrovert, that's a lot, right? To handle for your life to be publicly ridiculed and shamed and embarrassed and humiliated, people to form opinions on you, you know, that's a lot, right? So like I said, you guys watch the interview. It's long. He does it in 2 parts. He does both interviews in 2 parts. It's like 4 hours and some change. My Future Wifey YouTube channel, and he also has a podcast, but I saw it on YouTube. And you get a better perspective, and for me, I became a little more understanding of both of them. I was not so critical and condemning like I had been before, right? So, you know, you guys check it out. What else I want you to check out is these T-shirts. Make it happen for yourself. I also want you guys to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Got to do that. And all of my information is down in the description box, including my Cash App, right? But get you a T-shirt. Y'all see I shingling it? I shingling this one. Sometimes I shingling the bottom. I didn't do the bottom of this one, but I cut the neck off because I like my, I don't like, you know, I'm not a T-shirt wearer unless I'm around the house. But when I do, I don't want it all up around my neck, right? So anyway, y'all, get your T-shirt. I'm going to see you guys next time. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, okay? Make sure you do that, all right? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now, I don't know why my remote always want to not work. I don't know. And that's